All right, it's 757 Saturday Sports Talk back here on this Saturday after Turkey Day. Matt Hatfield along with the coach Ed Daniels. We do our basketball preview edition of 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Ed, because Monday is the first day of high school hoops, and I know you are pumped, jacked, juiced, whatever adjective you want to use. You're excited like a kid with ice cream and cake all over his face, right?
Yep, as they say, with a kid in the candy store with a credit card, and he doesn't even know how to use it.
Yeah, you with those credit cards would be very dangerous. Let's talk it out here, Coach. Beginning with the Beach District, where we've had a couple of state champions in recent years. Of course, we know about Princess Anne Girls, who's on a just dynastic run of state championships under Darnell Dozier. We'll get to them in a little bit when we do our girls segment of the program at the end. But on the boys' side, we know Green Run's played in the last two state championships, winning one, losing a heartbreaker to Stonebridge this past year. Lansdowne's won it before under Dwight Robinson. Couple of programs on the rise here with the likes of Salem and Princess Anne. Can't forget about Kempsville under Darren Sanderlin. But I think you have to begin with the main player in the Beach, and that's Donald Hand Jr., who's going to Boston College, almost 33 points per game last season. He's going to be hard for anybody in the Beach or beyond to stop this year.
Yeah, I think Lansdowne is. I'm going to give them the nod in the Beach. I think it's a team that usually gels pretty quick early in the year under Dwight. Really knows their roles, plays defense well, and I think definitely will be playing for a state title opportunity. And it's kind of hard for me to pick them over Green Run, who has done very well. But Green Run lost a lot, but I also think Green Run will still be in the mix also.
Well, two different classifications, obviously, with Lansdowne in 6A, Green Run in 5A. Is the key for Lansdowne to be the last team standing in Class 6, where I kind of feel like they're on a collision course with Hatfield, who will be playing in our Virginia Preps Classic, 2 sessions this year, January 8th at Green Run, January 22nd at Lansdowne. Is the key going to be how much those role guys around Hand Jr., specifically Jackson Tellefson, the 6'6" junior Ethan Ward, Josh Haskett, Demir Pollard, Xavier Lass, how much they improved from the abbreviated season to now? They lost in the state semis to Potomac. It can't just be Hand every night, can it?
No, I mean, the kid's capable of 30 points a game given night. I think he averaged 32 last year. And you're talking about averaging. I mean, that's extremely high no matter what level you play. Mm-hmm. He's going to get the brunt of the defensive attention for most teams. That's going to be a given. But he is somewhat of an unselfish player. It's just that some other kids will have to step up. I don't think it's an issue. I think they will. I've always said Lansdowne is a type of team that Dwight gets those kids to know their roles and they play them fairly quick. Most teams, it takes at least the month of December, which you don't have a whole lot of district games maybe, to kind of feel your way through and know what your role is and play up to it. Lansdowne usually does it a little quicker.
You know, after Hand Jr. say who's the marquee player in the Beach, Green Run graduated Jacob Cooper, Elijah Kennedy, who's now at Florida. Coach Kenneth Harris does have some holdovers that were reserves last year in Aiden Darrell, Derek Teal. They'll have bigger roles. You might have a couple of freshmen start in Cash Jackson, David Trey Miller. But I think there's a couple of names to watch out for. For Kempsville, the point guard Elijah White, you know how much a point guard can help a team. You got to see Princess Anne, Corey Kofer's squad in the fall league. They got a nice 1-2 punch with Michael Ojo, who could be the district's most improved player, and George Archer, who's probably a 20 points, 10 per game rebound guy. And then Salem, Lloyd DeLoach has got a deep team, 7 seniors. I know it's a squad you scrimmage, and they've got a 6'6" senior wing coming back in Cam Kearney, who was at Salem, spent the last year at Veritas, along with a couple other guys that play integral roles in Jaden Cooper, Joshua Stevens. So I think there's going to be some other names. They might not be the big-time D1 names. And, oh, by the way, Landon Russ at Bayside might be the most underrated veteran point guard in the area.
Yeah, and we're not even talking about, like, somebody from a Kellum team. Norm Hassel squad, who usually is in the mix and has a say in who's going where. I think it was a Tellison kid at Lansdowne, the 6'6" kid. I like the Kearney wing kid at Salem. In Green Run, again, they've had people, Elijah Kennedy in the past, of course, Jacob Cooper. They've had the people to step up. And I think somebody from that squad, that team will also be a first team all district performer.
May not know him now, but will by the end of the year. All right, so crystal ball real quickly before we move to the Eastern District and the Southeastern District. Edward, how you going with it? I'm thinking Lancetown 1, Salem 2, Green Run 3, Kempsville 4, PA 5 with Kellum and Cox honorable mention. Do you differ with me?
No, I'm going to stick with that, but I might go PA over Kempsville. That might be where the race is. I think top three without doubt, and I really think it'll be in that order: Lancetown, Green Run, Salem. You have Salem over Green Run.
I do by a smidge. They probably will split this year, though. To be honest with you,
I tell you what, just to differ for the sake of different, I'm gonna go Lancetown, Green Run, slight nod over Salem, and then PA slight nod over Kempsville.
That means you'll just make Darren Stanley and Lloyd Deloach mad. It's 757 Saturday Sports Talk, our high school basketball preview edition here as we close out this show in the month of November before December to remember. All right, Coach Young, Eastern District, tell me what's going to happen here because there are no major marquee names. We don't have the D1 studs like the Darion Seabrons, who's at NC State now from Lake Taylor, like the Jelani Darden from Norview, who's at Longwood, by the way. No major names. Maury had Chase Coleman a couple years back, who UVA. It's wide open, and all these teams did not play a season ago. So what are you expecting from the Norfolk and Portsmouth schools?
Eastern District is going to be tough, but I'm going to say this. Everybody's chasing Maury. I think Maury is a good 100 yards in front of everybody in that.
Why do you say that?
District.
Why do you say that?
I just think they're always athletic. They're playing decent defense. They play well together. Now, the problem is, for the life of me, I can't give you a name, and I probably should be in the Terra Region 5 team, and that's the region I'm in.
Shame on you. 5B, by the way.
I think they are because a lot of these other squads got a lot of new players that are going to have to step up. But the team to watch out for, Manor, who of course is a former Woodrow Wilson, under the Woodrow Wilson school title. Manor has done very well the last couple of years. Coach Andrews over there has done tremendous with them. I think they could edge out a Norview, Lake Taylor. Churchland has some nice transfers in. It's funny, we talk Eastern District and we get 4 or 5 minutes into the conversation. We haven't mentioned Norcom, a 5-time state champion?
Yeah.
And of course, they were in a little bit of a rebuilding mode last year, and I haven't seen much of them in the summer, don't know where they're at. But I like to think Leon Goolsby would have a say on who's going to win the district over there. But right now, I think it's Maury.
Well, and actually, in Norcom's case, I think they've won a total of 6 state titles under Leon Goolsby. But, yeah, you don't mention them or Booker T right out of the gate. And Maury, while they've got a nice cast under Coach Brandon Plummer, who's won a state championship, Brian Alexander, Trevon Townsend, Adrian Newton, Cam Jones, Tyler Bell, Sean Bell, Casey Jones, Wisdom Shaw. None are marquee level players. I think the leading scorer in the district might be the young man at Manor, formerly Woodrow Wilson, when they won a shared state title in Class 4 with Kingsburg. And that's Michael M.J. Smith, who averaged right around 20 a game as a freshman. He might be the best scorer. And I think Lake Taylor will get better second half of the season. Churchland could be tough if they find some consistency late. Watch out for Paul Jones for them. But it's kind of a wide open district. And I'm not going to sleep on Ricardo Foster's pilots with Colin Hines, the younger brother of John Hines, who's at Christopher Newport, Jalen Milt, and Marquise Jones. I'm going to go Maury 1, Norview 2, Manor 3, Lake Taylor 4, Churchland probably 4A, 4B with Lake Taylor. That's how I'm seeing it. How do you see it shake out?
Yeah, I go Maury 1, Manor 2, Norview 3.
Okay.
Lake Taylor 4, Churchland a very close 5. Churchland got a couple of youngsters. Unfortunately, they got them from me. Paul Jones and Corey Hunter, I think, are going to have a big say in what that team does. Now, those are 2 very young kids.
Mm-hmm.
But I got to feel Norcom and Booker T will make noise. Norcom and Booker T each will get at least 1 win from one of those 3 or 4 teams in front of them.
Well, and to that point, Ed, you can never rule out a late season run for them both being in Region 3A along with Lake Taylor. I think 3A is wide open because you don't have a dominant Hopewell team. They graduated a lot. Not a dominant team like Lakeland had a couple of years ago. Should be wide open. As we put the finishing touches on one of the first segments of our preview, we'll do the Southeastern District and then take a break and do the Peninsula, Bay Rivers, privates and the girls here. Ed, your district, the Southeastern, where it looks like Kings Fork is the top dog with George G. Bucks Beal, the Long Island Pledge 6'4" guard. They've also got Ryan Height back. Caleb Brown coming off an injury, who played previously at Nance Suffolk Academy. Samuel Brennan, he can score it in bunches. He came from Norfolk Collegiate and the multi-sport bruiser inside of Bravion Campbell. But I do say watch out for Oscar Smith and Western Branch. Yes, both have some good inside play. Sure, the Tigers graduated, or I should say lost Kenyon Giles to Nevada. He transferred out, and the Bruins don't have a bona fide proven scorer in the backcourt, but they both have inside forces, and the young man Kareem Stagg, the freshman for Oscar Smith, could be the best freshman in the entire 757.
Well, this is my district. If I don't know anybody, I got to know Southeastern because I've got to scout and prepare because we're obviously playing everybody in here, a couple of these teams twice. Unfortunately, Kings Fork and Western Branch are two teams I've got to play twice. I think they, along with Smith, clearly the top three in the district, and then you have a wide gap after them. I put a nod to Kings Fork, a very physical team, can score in bunches, just come at you like a tidal wave. Yeah, they lose the great one in Epps, but Beal has improved tremendously. He's grown even more. Brown coming in from Nance Suffolk Academy, Rick Height's son playing. I think Kings Fork has the potential to go undefeated, except Western Branch, who plays them twice, and Oscar Smith, who plays them once, will have a lot to say about that. Smith has lost the Giles kid, who probably would have been the leading scorer in the league had he come back. But I played them in the fall league. They're physical, they're big, and they've got some shooters in the backcourt that made me say, well, where did that kid come from? I don't remember him being a scorer. They have a lot what it takes. I just think they need an introduction to each other because a lot of young kids in there, a couple transfers in there. And Western Branch is smoother than Oscar Smith. I say probably a little deeper and also surprisingly has some big kids. Now they lost some vets, but I would say they will compete Region 6 for a potential state title. And I think Smith has enough to get there. And I think Kings Fork can win, get to the Final Four, and if not win the state title in Region 4.
Well, Western Branch, very solid interior piece in Cesare Priester. He should be a double-double player for Paul Hall's Bruins. You know Paul Hall well, coming from your program where he was the JV coach for many, many years, and he certainly built a winning culture and tradition and system over there at Western Branch. And Ellis Wright could be a three-point specialist breakout kid. Leroy Hamilton's going to step into a bigger role for Oscar Smith this year as a senior, minus Giles. Two teams to watch out for under line of surprises. Maybe Ed Young's Warriors, perhaps Clint Reich's Cavaliers out in Lakeland, but two Chesapeake schools, Grassfield and Great Bridge. Grassfield with Leon Rogers could be one of the district's leading scorers, and Great Bridge, Scott Bigby. He's got the Brown brothers, Antoine and Christian. Those are two teams that could be sleepers early on and could catch someone napping if they're not ready for them.
I think Grassfield right now is number 4 in our district, and I think they will make noise earlier than Great Bridge. Great Bridge will make a little bit more noise later. Let's get into January, middle of January for Great Bridge. But Grassfield under Eric Johnson has really, really blossomed. I think if I had to pick one team in the area that's going to be considered most improved from start of season, of course, we didn't really have a season last year, even though the Chesapeake schools kind of had their own spring league to get to play in there. I think Grassfield would be that team that I would pick as the most improved, big-time sleeper in the entire area.
And a couple of players to watch out for Ed Young's Warriors. Darren Clark in the backcourt, Keyshawn Johnson in the front court for Lakeland. Watch out for the young man shooting the ball, Jordan Sanders, young man who played at Kings Fork previously. He can get hot from deep. That's going to do it for our Beach, Eastern, and Southeastern District previews. We'll come back with the Peninsula, the Bay Rivers, the privates, and the girls right here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk, powered by Larry King Law on the coach's favorite radio station. What is it?
ESPN Radio 94.1.